we were warned by a lot of doctors, a lot of medical professionals that this was going to happen, that you're going to see a lot of soft tissue damage, you're going to see a lot of ligament tears, because it is the nature of the situation. These athletes are not given a sufficient amount of time to, to recuperate, rest and recuperate. Should they have pushed back? Let me first say, I understand the reason they didn't, and y'all quite mentioned it. Like, first, no one's going to forfeit that Christmas Day money. That's just too much television money that the NBA is not going to want to give up, especially on the heels of missing out on so much money coming through at the gate receipts. Because as we know, COVID was a real thing, unless you live in Florida and Texas, where apparently COVID is not real. But COVID is a real thing, and the NBA lost tons and tons of money at the gate. So they were not going to give up the Christmas Day money too. And as Marshall correctly mentioned in the chat, the other circumstance was starting at January was going to jeopardize finishing the season before the start of the Olympics. Now, I will say this, if I'm an NBA owner, right, I don't want my players playing the Olympics coming on the heels of a quick restart and then having no rest and recuperation to go and play a physically demanding tournament where there's very few rest in between games at a tournament like the Olympics. So for me, if I'm the NBA, right, and as selfish as it sounds, the Olympics should never have come into play. Like, granted, you have whatever deals or partnerships with FIBA, but if I'm an NBA owner, I have to tell myself the Olympics, and we have to look past and obviously remember the NBA is not just made up of American-born players, but there are a number of European and South American players, African as well, within the NBA that make up the league, and it's 500 players or so. But if I'm an NBA player, and if I'm an NBA owner and a player, I have to tell myself, like, is the Olympics worth it after I've gone through, or if I barely skate through a shortened season that was so quick upon its restart? Is the Olympics worth it when injury is clearly on the line? And then Marsh also quickly mentioned the NBA still then turned around and had an All-Star weekend. And I thought that was just so irresponsible and so tone deaf when you're seeing these players drop like flies. But the real reason I want to say that the NBA should have pushed back, as much a fan of a team that, for lack of a better term, does not have the appeal of other markets, the reality is no one wants to watch NBA where there's no LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Kevin Durant, James Harden, Kyrie Irving, Jason Tatum, Steph Curry. Whether we like it or not, this league is star-driven. There's a reason why shoe sales go up in June primarily, simply because all eyes are on the NBA, and that's when Nike and Under Armour and Adidas are going to trot out their best shoes, because they know everyone wants to watch Steph Curry, LeBron James, Kevin Durant on the biggest stage. There's just too many big stars not playing in the playoffs, and that's where you want to see them. No one cares about the regular season, let's be honest. People want the big stars on the biggest stage. And as I said, whether you like him or you don't like him, it is bad business not having LeBron James deep in the playoffs, and the NBA will tell you.